All right. This is it. So we have. What's your name, man?
Yeah, what's going on, everybody?
Who is this guy on my couch?
How did I end up here? I just woke up and I was like,
No, guys, this is my friend Cam. Um, I've known him for a few months now because we work in the same place, and we had some interesting conversations. I was like, "Hey, man, why don't we film it and share it with the world?" So here we are. First of all, I wanna just introduce Cam and know a little bit of who you are, where you're from, and all of that, man. So I know you're from Ohio, Cincinnati, which I know nothing about.
Yeah, I always joke because, like, when people are like, "What's Ohio like?" I say like the most wild answer. Apparently, I'm just like it's a lot of cornfields and heroin addicts, and people are like, "God, this is terrible." Like, I'm like, it's just I'm just being facetious. And then I also you're like, you probably see memes about it on Instagram. I mean, I feel like memes made about any state. If there's memes made about any state, like I think the most are made about Ohio.
Really?
Yeah, it really is a lot of cornfields. I mean, there's cool cities there.
Yeah.
But
I know it's a big like football state.
big football state.
Yeah.
The weather is actually kind of like what it is outside here today in Miami. Like this overcast kind of like gloom and doom.
Always?
Like it's a lot of the time it's like that. So like, especially wintertime, it can be very gray and gloomy.
Okay.
A lot of the time, as versus Denver or Colorado, like summers it's cold.
Yeah.
Or winters, it's cold, but it's very clear skies most of the time. Ohio is very overcast.
Is that cause I don't know, like pollution or something like that?
I don't know. It's very plausible that that's part of it.
Huh.
And a funny fact about Ohio, and if you believe in the moon landing, I don't know that we're not going to go off on a tangent on conspiracies. But
We're starting here. I already 1 minute in already. Oh wow.
But yeah, the most astronauts that have been to the moon
Yeah.
are from Ohio.
Okay.
So the joke is that they didn't like being on Earth because they were in Ohio so much that they left the whole planet to go to the moon.
Wow.
But Ohio's really not that bad. It's great. It was a great place to grow up.
So you grew up in Ohio and then
Cincinnati, Ohio. Grew up, born and raised in Cincinnati.
what happens between?
Maybe not born. My mom likes to say that I ran out of her.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't stopped since.
What happens between being born in Ohio and Miami?
Okay, so really hyper speed. I got a scholarship to college for academics.
So you're a good student?
Yeah, a lot of people that like meet me and they see me in the fitness scene and all this stuff, they probably like make assumptions. But everybody's guilty of making assumptions. And yeah, I got a partial scholarship to Miami University in Ohio.
Miami University in Ohio. Okay.
Yeah, it's in Oxford in Ohio, and it's a top business school in the country. I got direct admit, partial scholarship to the school. Didn't like the school. I mean, it felt like high school all over again. I went to all boys high school, so there was a lot of people that were from that like kind of community of people. Went to Ohio State. I needed diversity, so that was a drastic switch. Ohio State's one of the biggest universities in the country.
Is that in Cincinnati?
It's in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
And then from there, I swapped majors multiple times, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. I called my parents one night, and I was like, I think I want to drop out. I have an opportunity to model in New York City.
Nice, man.
So
Did you pursue that, or it just happened? Like you
back when I was in
that?
high school, I had done some modeling on the side because one of the trainers at my high school did some modeling on the side, but he kept it hush hush because he didn't want everybody to know he was a model. Like, in Ohio, it's kind of looked at funny.
In what way? Like, oh, you think you're better than everyone else? Like, ooh,
I don't
I'm good
know. I
looking.
know when I was in college and I was deciding to, like, when I was finishing out the semester and I was like dropping out and moving to New York, and people knew. Because I was in a fraternity, I was a president and social chair of my pledge class, like everything. So after that year, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm dropping out. And I'm gonna move to New York to model. Like
That's
everybody
cool.
was just kind of like, what? But yeah, I just I don't know. Everybody claim they're like, oh, you're gay and like all that stuff, that type of stuff, you know. Because if you're into fashion and you're a guy, then you're gay. This is what the common thought is, apparently. But in
Interesting.
Ohio too, man. Like, I
I assume
remember
it's a different type of society than like
you're
hits you.
Italian, man. So you have a nice dress, a nice swagger, like Italian style. You know, in Ohio, like wearing that,
They
people.
very rural, I assume.
Well, yeah, and people just it's very close-minded thinking.
Huh.
You know.
So like a model automatically is like someone that's like very effeminate and
Yeah, or you know,
flamboyant.
yeah, or
Huh.
just like because you're fashionable and you know how to dress yourself,
Yeah.
then yeah, then it makes you gay. Cause like I wore like I you
Nice
know
clothes
I'm
and like
fashionable, you know,
hair and all of
a
that.
style, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that style, and then everybody else is wearing dad jeans and fucking a polo, and I'm like,
Maybe now it's different. No?
yeah,
Huh.
I don't know, it's middle of the country, man.
Yeah, I have no idea because I've never been. I've only been on the extremities, so West Coast or East Coast.
It's very different.
Huh.
The middle of the country is very like, I don't want to say backwards, but people are kind of stuck in time
Mm.
until you get out.
Is that the Christian belt?
Mm,
The
probably part like it definitely is kind of like, I don't know, like I don't Bible thumping.
So man, you go to New York, and I mean your mind must have exploded, right?
Man,
How old were you?
I was 20. I was 20 years old. I moved to New York, and
That's awesome.
I I remember I moved in. I was living in a pillbox apartment, like 180 square feet, with a roommate. I was 20, and then there was another guy from my modeling agency, and he was 27, 28 at the time. And we shared a studio apartment, 180 square feet, man. You know how tiny that is? There was a bathroom at the end of it with a shower, really tiny, and then it had a little kitchenette,
Yeah.
and that was it.
Two separate beds or like a couch and a bed?
We had a like a pull out, like a fake, like, and then an inflatable mattress. Yeah, wild, man, wild
What
times.
area was it? Brooklyn or Manhattan?
It was I was in Manhattan, which is why like we were paying like, I don't know what we were paying, but to like live in that type of setup was just like crazy. But you're young at that point, so you're just kind of carefree and like you're in it for the ride,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just trying to make it. But I was struggling there. Because when you get into modeling, it's not the easiest thing. You can't just jump in and like be famous or whatever.
You gotta grind first.
It's totally different.
I did it a little bit in New York, man. There's it's such a it's so time consuming because for every like I don't know 10 auditions and castings that you go, you get like one gig. So every day you're all over the place and going here and there and here and there, and then maybe you get one at the end of the week, right?
Yeah, if you get one.
If you get one.
Yeah, and you're just trying to figure it out. You know, I don't know. New York's cool. It's a beast. I just never could imagine living there again.
Yeah. What I don't like about that industry, man, is you're always waiting for someone to give you what you're looking for. So you never have control over your career. You're like, oh, I hope that you like me. I hope that you think that I'm good, you know, when you're auditioning for a movie. Oh, I hope that they like me so I get the role. So it's never you. They have to give you the keys to enter the door, you know. I
Yeah.
hated that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No matter how much work you put in.
If they don't like you, you don't get the job.
Yeah.
If they, you know,
And there's just like there's the underworld to it.
huh.
You know, there's a lot of like, you know, it, they people think that like only girls get that, like where like guys try to get them to do sexual favors for them to get the job.
Yeah.
Modeling, same shit, man. Like I had so many, and it's like, you know,
You were telling me the other day, yeah, man. What?
it's like as a male model, look, you can be gay, whatever, but you trying to use your power position as like either a casting director or an agent or a brand as the owner or whatever, you know, owner of Calvin Klein, whatever. They, more often than not, if they're a guy in the fashion industry, yes, they are gay. They're running their own fashion company, brand, whatever. And they try to use their power to get you to do
What they want.
gay stuff to get a job. So, for example, let's say, all right, Cam, I got cast for Calvin Klein, and then if I want to book the job, the casting director or owner of the company, I have to let them suck my dick. It's like this weird power. It's like this weird
Were they
power
like
thing.
explicit in their requests, or it was always like between the lines?
It's kind of like between the lines, but then there's like, or it's like if you're on a photo shoot, or you're like doing like there's this guy Bruce Weber.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, Bruce Weber. He tried to touch my dick, man.
Huh.
Tried to touch my dick.
He's like one of the, for people that don't know, Bruce Weber is one of the like most famous like fashion photographer in the world.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
top models and actors.
Top models. He used to make your career. He would make your career.
Yeah, if he shoots you, like you're
and
done.
He likes you and you're famous.
Yeah.
But a lot of those guys you know, and it's funny because Vogue wrote an article on it and they just kind of brushed it under the rug. But yeah, no, he used to have two mansions up in Golden Beach. My booker set it up. I went up there. He tries to touch my dick. I'm like, dude, get the fuck off me. And then I just ordered
How old is he, or was he
my
at the time?
Uber and got out. I mean, I was in my mind. I'm like, Santa Claus is trying to touch my dick because he like had the big beard, big fat guy. I'm like, get me out of here, man. And then I call my booker and I'm like, what the fuck was that?
How did he react to your like pushing him off? Was he like upset or?
No, he was just like indifferent. And then I was like, all right, I'm out of here. And then I ordered Uber. And
Were you alone, or were there other models?
No, it was just me and him
Huh.
at his mansion. I was like, fuck this. And that happened multiple times, man. Multiple times, different.
Always
my
in New
booker
York?
here in Miami.
Huh.
In LA, when I flew out to LA. I flew out to LA to meet with Tyrese Gibson, Tyrese Gibson's manager, because I was gonna get into that, and then some shit tried to happen out there, and I was like, "Fuck this too."
What? Be more specific, man.
My agent at the time, from Miami.
So you had an agent in New York,
In Miami,
Los Angeles.
Well, LA, I was going out to just see if I wanted to do acting, because everybody's like, "Yo, you would be a good actor. You should, you know."
Huh.
So I went out, and I'm staying with another guy who my booker from Miami used to manage. And so I'm out there, and then my booker from Miami flies out, and then all right, chilling out there, and like. The dude had a 1-bedroom, so a couch like this, but also like there was another. It was like an L-shaped couch, big couch.
Yeah.
So, anyways, hanging out, go to sleep. Well, hang out there, go out to a dispensary, like, you know, do the typical LA shit. Like I was young, whatever, and then I wake up in the like have some prosecco. We're all just chilling, chopping it up, and then it's like, all right, everybody's just gonna knock out. I lay down on the couch. My booker's on the other angle, the other way.
Yeah.
Yo, dude, I wake up in the middle of the night. I catch this motherfucker under his covers, but like, I don't know what it is, where people like get off by like touching another person.
So
Not touching their private.
He was next to you.
He wasn't next to me. He was like angled. So I'm like laying this way, and then there's the L shape on the other side.
Yeah.
You know, but like sitting up and like I don't know. People get off by like touching people. Like I heard that like in subways, like if you rub up against somebody, they get off. Like some people get turned on by that.
So
That's the thing.
You think he was into you?
Oh, I think he was just gay, and he was just like saying that he's not. But he was touching me with his foot, but then like yanking it, like choking the chicken, spanking the meat, beating the meat. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Dude, yeah. I wake up and like his foot is like touching me, and he's and like he's, yeah, tugging it, and I'm just like, I wake up and I'm like, what? I'm like laying there. I'm like, is this for real? I'm like, what the fuck, man? And then he's like, what? I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, are you serious? So I go outside, like out on like the balcony. I just go outside. I just kind of walk around. It's like early morning, still dark out. So then I just left and I didn't go back.
So obviously you lost the agency.
Oh well. I just remember, dude. I remember I was still so young at this point. I mean, in your early 20s, you're still trying to figure out your identity and all this stuff, you know. Guys mature later than girls. Anyways, I remember calling my parents and just feeling like my whole world was crumbling. Whole world was crumbling down, and I'm like,
yeah, of course, because you identified with that world at the time, because that's what you wanted to like pursue. So that revealing itself to you in that dark way was like, oh shit, what am I gonna do now? I don't want to be in this anymore. I'm just guessing, but is that what happened?
Well, it was that, and I just like, I was like, damn, like that guy had booked Abercrombie for me. Like I had like he was the one who like really got my career off the ground.
Huh.
Like I traveled the world because like, you know, he set up appointments in Istanbul and Milan.
Do you think he always had like a
ulterior motive?
Yeah, like his eyes on you from the beginning?
I don't know. I guess like all these people like have their favorites and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I remember calling my parents and just like I broke down. I'm like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get back to Miami, like, and figure it out. And
so that was like the switch.
I got back to Miami, and then I dropped that agency and I switched to Next, and I just couldn't get my mind right because I was so like fucked up after all these like experiences, and like I was just kind of like disheartened. I think that it was like revolving around that, and I was like, you know what? I've been boxing forever. I worked like dead end jobs for a year in between stopping modeling, and then like getting into training because I was certified trainer since I was 20 when I started modeling, but then and I had been boxing since I was 19, 20, but I just never thought to like transition to that and coach. So I just spent a year and a half, and then I was like, you know what? Why don't I just train? You know. So I got into that, and then it's funny now I'm back in modeling too. Funny how things go around.
Let me go back, man, because I want to ask you something about that world that you're entering again. Why? I have my personal opinions, but why do you think people are drawn to that world? People want to be models, want to get into the like movie industry. Why is it so appealing to a lot of people?
Fame. I think people want to be famous. People want to be seen. People want to be known. And I don't know. I think it's that. I think it's like it's the same thing as like wanting to be popular in school, kind of. At least for me, that's how I kind of view it. It's like, and I just always thought it was cool. Like, oh wow, it'd be cool to be a Calvin Klein model on the cover of Calvin Klein. Like, oh.
Do you think it's an ego thing?
That's a good question.
I mean, because once you're up there, you're like, oh, I made it. So everyone can look at me as in, you know, I'm
it's almost like you want to fill something. It's like you have a void. You want to fill the void. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, when I was younger, it was like, yo, this would be such a cool career to do. That's okay. I was just like, this would be cool because for me also the main
You
thing
go all over
was,
the world.
bro,
You get
yeah.
paid a lot of money.
Yeah, like you get paid a lot of money, you take photos, and you
You're
can
around
go
like
around the
beautiful
world,
people.
and you're around beautiful people, man. Beautiful girls, like, you know.
I mean, man, that's true, and you're around beautiful people. But on the other side of the camera, that's what people don't see, but you see because you're there, and that's, as you just said, that's the dark side.
Yeah, the dark underbelly of it.
Huh. Interesting. And imagine how many lost souls they get swallowed by the machine. I mean, because you're like a smart guy and sharp, so you could figure out quickly. It was like, yo, I'm getting out of here. But a lot of people, man, I'm sure they get sucked in because, you know, they're like, oh, I want to have money, I want to be famous. I'm just going to do what I have to do.
Yeah, I think that, and that's why I think they try to take advantage of you when you're younger, because you haven't created
Developed
your identity.
Yeah.
It's sad, in a way, because if you sell your soul like that, like if you let that stuff happen, because you think that that's what you want to do to be, like you'll do that to be famous, you're like selling your soul to be famous. And that was my opinion. And I thank my parents forever for raising me with a moral compass and a backbone to be able to say no. I don't need to do that I value myself because my parents showed me that I had value, you know?
Wow, man. All right, let's open the second chapter. So then you're in Miami and you're like, I'm getting to fitness because I don't want to be in that world anymore.
Yeah.
That's how we met, because we work in the same gym. So
Yeah.
you're a boxing instructor and I'm part of the sales team. So, so you start this new life in Miami. How is it? How was it when you made the decision to like change?
When I switched over, gosh, I was coaching at a couple gyms. Some of them aren't even in existence anymore down here. And then I got offered a position at this gym called Fight Club. And it was as badass as it sounds.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Where is it? Or what was it?
It was in, do you know where it's by, close to Wynwood.
Okay.
Close to Wynwood. It's right next to the Brayman Auto Dealership. And
Okay.
close to Margaret Pace Park.
Got it.
But it was a scene. It was like out of a movie. It was a big warehouse, massive warehouse. Had like 80 heavy bags in there.
No way.
No AC, and it had gates on the ends of it. They had a full weight room on the inside, which was air conditioned.
Uh-huh.
And then like another room down in the bottom. But it was grungy, it was grimy, it was dirty, man. Like, but people loved it. And, you know, even though it was like 40, 50 bucks a month.
Nothing. And
you could do everything. The classes, you didn't have to pay for separate classes. You could pay for a membership and go to 5 classes in a day if you wanted. It was just something unheard of now. Looking back on it, it's like, wow, what a
How many years ago is this? 5, 6?
Gosh, yeah, probably 7. 6 or 7 years
And it
ago.
doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's long gone. They flattened it. Brayman bought it and flattened it. But it was like, bro, it was like, it would put you kind of on the scene as an instructor too. Like everybody would know you because, dude, I would have like 100 Monday nights was a popping class, and then Saturdays. Like Saturdays, we would have back-to-back classes of over 100 people in a hot box, and there was no mic. No mic. So you're running around, you have a whistle around your neck, and you're screaming, and then you're controlling the music with your phone. It was so rugged, but it was a fucking blast to coach.
What did you like about like coaching and being in that environment? What do you like?
No, it was just fun to like be around that much energy. I'm like an energy addict, so I like and it was fun for me to like pump up the room and just see how like many people and just be in it and create all those relationships. I was also a lot younger and I was a little bit of a wild man, you know. I was that was a totally different life for me. A totally different life.
Like
for
very
me.
social, I assume.
Very
right?
social and like just I was just, you know, thinking about, you know, working out, partying, and girls.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
What I like about the fitness world, man, and I worked in so many different industries. The fitness world generally, like everyone is energetic, is happy. They enjoy being there. You know, whether you're part of the staff or like members, clients, they enjoy what they're doing. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. I worked in restaurants, but a totally different vibe. You know, like a lot of people like they're I don't want to say depressed, but there's a lot of like dark energy in restaurants. Working like with people like bartenders and stuff like that.
A lot of cocaine, right?
Yeah, a lot of cocaine, a lot of alcohol. You know, it's a different. But fitness generally, you know, people are upbeat, they're dynamic, they social. So I like that aspect of that world, this world. So I assume that's what drawn you and that's what keeps you going, also, right? Because you're a social guy. You enjoy being around people. So that's definitely that aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the energy thing.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean
Miami's
Miami's is big on that, you know. So there's definitely it's definitely a huge industry over here. But so yeah, what happened after that? Because I know you're a biker, you ride bikes, and that's a huge part of your life. Also, that's like
we've talked.
story.
Yeah, because you've got a bike yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love adrenaline. I'm definitely like a red line type of person. Like on the speedometer, you know, you red line and it's about to blow the engine. I'm kind of like one of those people. I'm like very extreme. I've definitely calmed down because of that accident though. Like I'm very level, but I was very crazy before, like I said. But
was there like a big epiphany for you, like turning point in your life?
That was the biggest change. Like I don't know, I maybe would be dead if I didn't have that, if I didn't die already. Like the accident, they found me and I had no heart rate, so I was flatlined, dead. Everybody asked, did you see anybody? Did you see God? But I don't remember anything. I had so much damage done. Like my skull was cracked across the top.
Because you were not wearing the helmet, right?
Yeah, I wasn't wearing a helmet. I was out partying.
Was that like late at
night? And I had to take my bike with me. I took my bike out. Like I was like in a different mental space, dude. Like, and I was geared up. Like I was not geared up with equipment. I was on steroids, dude.
Huh.
Which messes your psyche up a lot.
In what way?
It makes your ego and personal self separate. Like your ego is massive. Like, you know, like if you have high testosterone already and then you get on that stuff, it just like it's like unbridled testosterone. You're like
so it makes you feel like invincible.
Yeah, sort of. And I was on trenbolone, which trenbolone, the original creation of trenbolone was to move cattle from the West Coast to the East Coast without them losing much weight and barely feeding them. And then they decided to try it on humans, and you know.
How do you inject that? Do you like?
Yeah, you inject it into your upper ass cheek, right or left side.
Okay.
And you mix them together. So you mix test and tren, and you put it in the syringe. You make sure all the bubbles are out of it. Then you stick it.
Every day?
You could do it once or twice a week. So I was doing it Mondays and Thursdays.
Huh. For how long?
The longest I did was 6 months.
Okay.
And that was leading up right to the accident. It actually probably saved my life. Trenbolone it works off of like your fight or flight, and it makes you like kind of like indestructible. Like trenbolone is wild, dude. Like you can hit legs and shovel. You could hit everything, and the next day you could hit it again, like nothing. It makes you indestructible.
But you think at some point your body,
Oh, you have a lot of side effects from it, dude.
like, it's telling you, hey, this is enough, and it like shuts down or something.
Yeah, sometimes when you're trying to have sex.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. When you're on that stuff, like you're probably like
Because you don't have control over your.
you're horny as hell, bro.
Okay.
But you're just so pumped full of shit that, like, dude. Sometimes, like, I just remember, like, you're like having sex and then like you just go limp.
And that's the one of the side effects.
Dude, yeah.
Because there's no like blood circulation or what
it's
is
just because like your hormones are all over the place as well. Like you're basically doing like a science experiment inside your body. Like I like to read about stuff like in regards to like all health stuff. Like when I decided to get on that, just to also to like be able to coach all these certain classes at Fight Club. That is ultimately why I got on it, because I was keeping that gym open. I was coaching everything. Everybody left, so I was coaching like 6 to 8 classes in that hot box a day.
Wow.
And you just can't sustain that physically. So I got on gear. But it's, you gotta take, so you're taking tests. So you're taking synthetic testosterone. You're taking tren, and then you're also, you got to take other things to keep your estrogen levels from going too high, because when your testosterone goes up, your estrogen will go up too. So you got to take Arimidex, which is an estrogen blocker, and then you got to take Proviron, which is also helping your body to create testosterone so that you don't just completely shut off. Wow. So it's like learning how to like run a lab experiment inside your body. So I learned a lot actually, because I had to do a lot of reading to make sure I didn't mess myself up.
You didn't have anyone like helping you out or giving you advice?
I had a buddy who was like, who used to work at Iron Addicts, which was a massive bodybuilding gym down here. But they got shut down because of the steroid ring, like by the FBI.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Crazy. But yeah, so I kind of learned, and I did my reading, and I learned how to do it, and yeah, there was a point where I was like just doing it on my own, because I had a roommate and he was afraid of needles. So I ended up, it's better obviously if somebody else can poke you and aspirate the needle, because you don't want to, the other worry is when you inject the needle, if you don't aspirate, which is basically you pull and make sure you're not in a vein. So you gotta, when you stick it in, you gotta pull back on the needle a little bit to make sure you're not in a vein. Because if you're in a vein and if you shoot that into a vein, it'll go right to your heart and you're dead.
Oh my God, man. Why do you want to do that shit?
I don't know, dude. I was young and reckless. Like I said, I'm just like kind of a crazy person. Could
it be that it all culminated with this like accident, that it was like a sign that, bro, you gotta change your life because this is not.
Dude, I had so many signs. This is a metal rod. I was just going like, this is a metal rod in here. They put my clavicle back together because it was in 4 pieces. That was the year prior to me buying my first motorcycle. So I was like ripping a bicycle everywhere.
Oh, that's not because of the accident. That was before.
I've broken my collarbones 4 times.
Riding bikes.
Yeah. Well, no, not just riding bikes. Playing ice hockey and.
Okay.
But yeah, I. Where was I going with that?
Well, I said the accident was like the culmination of a series of events.
It was stuff leading up to it, because like when I was on the gear, testosterone, trenbolone, whatever, and I was partying too, which you're not supposed to do on that stuff.
You're not supposed to mix it with alcohol, right?
Yeah, and I was like partying hard, and then I had also dabbled with like drugs. Like I took ecstasy and stuff like that. There was a night where we were out, and my roommate at the time, we had gone out and we had taken a little bit of like MDMA.
Yeah.
And then we're like out party, like Deep House Club, whatever, that type of shit. And dude, there was a moment where I like completely just shut off. It was like the power went off inside my brain, and I fell. My roommate was like, dude, you were literally looking at me in the eyes. You just looked at me in the eyes, and then you just fell over with your eyes wide open. And he caught me inside the club. And then I woke, and then I came right back to, and I was like, yo, what was that? So my brain shot, like, dude, I had so many times where it was like I was pushing it like way too much. And then it was like, all right, God was like, are you never gonna fucking learn, dude? All right, fine. Let's flip your life upside down. I feel like that is probably what it was. Like, this didn't wake you up. This didn't wake you up. This didn't wake you up. Okay.
And that was the day of the accident, and
that was the reckoning.
and then fast forward, you wake up, you're in the hospital.
Yeah, I didn't have memories for like 2 weeks.
There's like a blur, like
blank. I have no recollection at all. Yeah, because I was in a coma for 6 days of it, and then like after they woke me up from the coma, then another 2 weeks where I don't remember anything. I don't remember them reteaching me how to walk. I don't remember any of that stuff.
So you had to start from zero.
I started
like
from
super fit guy, always like training, moving, exercising, and you had to start like you were like an infant.
An infant, yeah.
No, like you couldn't talk, like.
Dude, I think my mom told me like when I woke up, like I was just reaching, like a baby does, like with no words. I was fucked up, man.
How long did it take, man, to get back into like?
I was in a neck brace. I had a C2, C3 fracture for. It was piercing my spine, so half my body was paralyzed for a little while. And then obviously the pressure alleviated, and then they were able to reteach me how to walk and stuff like that. But gosh, neck brace on for 6 months. The fracture was pretty serious. C2, C3.
Your legs were fine?
Yeah, legs weren't that bad. But I just, everything was just in healing. Time will heal it. But when the brain was the damage. My brain was pretty scrambled. So like multitasking, forget it, man. Having a conversation like and feeling like okay in myself, that took forever. When I got the neck brace off after 6 months, and I was able to go work out. I remember going to the gym the first day that I got the neck brace off. I couldn't do one push-up, not one. I couldn't do anything. I felt like it was so not disheartening, not emasculating. I don't know, maybe a little bit emasculating because you feel like a little bitch, But I had to redo everything. So it was like, it all comes down to self-talk. That's what I've told so many people. It's like how you talk about yourself. If I had believed everything the doctors said, I probably wouldn't be here on this couch with you. If I had, they were just, everybody likes to put limitations on it because people don't want you to get too hopeful, I think, as well.
Huh.
So.
Why is that?
Like, yeah, he's maybe never going to be normal again. Like,
they were saying that?
Yeah. He might not ever be normal. Like, none of that stuff. Like, they could not believe, like, there was a lady who would take my class at Fight Club, and she lived in the neighborhood with one of the doctors who saw me when I came in. My head all blown wide open. And she was like, yeah, guess what? I took class with Cam today. He was coaching. And the doctor was, like, astounded. He was like, no, you're lying. He's like, I need to see a photo. Like, he was like, I saw that kid when he came in. Like, there's no way that kid is back coaching classes. Are you fucking kidding me? But it's because my self-talk is strong. Man, I'm not going to let anybody tell me how to do my life,
So whenever they would say something like you're never going to walk again or you're going to be like this for the rest of your life, you would just like shut it off? Say,
it was like one of those things like la 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 la.
Wow, man. Where did you get this? Was it like automatic or you?
I just never have been a quitter. I don't know. I've always had that like drive in me. Like, I'm not gonna take no. Like, I'm not gonna take no for an answer. My parents always like kind of ingrained that in my brother and I, like to not be a quitter. I think that's probably part of it too. Like when we would want to quit a sport when we were younger, and if the coach was like, oh, erratic or anything, my parents would be like, "Nope, you finish what you started," you know, and that's like ingrained in me.
Wow, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Never quit, never give up. You know, always keep going.
I want to ask you this, man. Well, you kind of already answered, but you've already mentioned your parents a few times. What are sort of values have they instilled in you that you're grateful for?
Working hard. Respect. Respect is such a pinnacle
I love that.
thing for people. Like, respect for other people, respect for yourself, value yourself, stand for yourself. That has served me well through all the years. Because there's a lot of times where you can compromise your moral character for things, but I think my parents instilled in me that to just not vary from that.
Mm-hmm.
Not
I mean,
stray
man,
away from that.
as you said, in regards to the modeling, you were fairly young, but
The backbone.
you already had it clear what was right and what was wrong. So I'm sure that came from your parents. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, that's incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel very blessed for them, like, all the time. You know? My brother and I definitely have put them through it in our own ways, and they're like angels on earth. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? They're just always accepting, always very loving, and always very supportive. And I think a lot of kids grow up and they maybe don't have that.
Yeah.
Where your parents like really are on your team and they want you to win.
Huh.
So yeah, I'm always very grateful for them.
Wow, man. And something else that I follow you on Instagram, and you always, not always, but one of your main focuses is like masculinity, and that's another thing that I've been reading and studying, and I want to know a little bit more, like where you stand, and what is masculinity for you, and why do you talk about it so much? Why does it touch you so much?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know. It really is something that I have kind of gravitated towards, and like, it's like, honestly, it's almost like I just kind of like feel it inside. Like, there's a healthy masculinity, and then there's a toxic masculinity, and
Yeah.
toxic is what everybody wants to talk about, and guys are toxic, and I honestly, I think a lot of guys, maybe in our generation, maybe the generation prior to it, have kind of created this bad name for masculinity, like this toxic masculinity.
So they refer to masculinity as masculinity as something that is toxic, but there's also like the other side, which is you can be a healthy masculinity and doesn't have to be negative, doesn't have a negative connotations.
Yeah, like a healthy masculine is somebody who holds space for other people, doesn't really talk. Let's do both sides. Toxic masculinity is a guy who is like very demeaning and like calling another guy like a pussy and stuff like that. Healthy masculine would be seeing that person, and maybe that person isn't as strong as you, but kind of guiding them and helping them, like, okay, like, yeah, maybe I was there, like, I guess talking about it, like, to like go back, like my accident, I was maybe I wouldn't say like before my accident, toxic masculinity, but I was kind of like that, like macho, like type thing.
Yeah.
Accident brought me down to like no confidence.
Humbled you.
Humbled me to the ground zero. I had no confidence, nothing. And then that allowed me to see both sides of it because I was weak and nothing. And when I had just been so strong and thought I was like an ego power. So now I can kind of see in the middle. Like healthy masculine is, oh gosh, like healthy masculine would be, it's just like simple characteristics that are kind of like have gone by the wayside now. I was just talking about it the other day. Like guys aren't really gentlemen anymore. Like, and it also is women's fault too. Like they're kind of just putting their body out there. They're using their body to make money. Like OnlyFans is so massive. Girls are just posting super risque pictures to get likes, and then guys are falling for that, and it's kind of like, you know, it's all playing into one thing where it's kind of a mess. Like guys are supporting that by paying for OnlyFans and doing that, and then girls are putting out more content in that regard. So it's a mess. I don't know. I think everybody is just following the wrong morals right now. I think God doesn't exist in a lot of people's life anymore.
When I think about healthy masculine man, one thing that comes to my mind is being a role model. Being a role model for people, like for the new generation, for example. And I grew up without a role model. My father was never a role model for a lot of things, so I was always searching for that male that I would look at and would say, I want to be like him, you know. So my whole life I've been looking for, in all different places, like friends or movies or books, biographies, like the characteristics of what for me a healthy male should have. And I think like being a role model, being a man of you know, like you're a man of your word. You follow up what you say. You take responsibilities and you show up. For me, are all like characteristics of a healthy, you know, masculine. For example, you don't put people down. You respect people. You help people out. You know, you have a backbone. You pay tribute to your parents. All of that for me is like, you know, healthy masculine.
You stand for what's right.
Yeah.
That's why now with everything, like people don't, that's kind of what the problem is right now, because there's no healthy masculine. There's not a lot of healthy masculine. People don't stand up for anything. Like I want to, maybe this would be too political, but like with the pandemic, like I never agreed with any of that. And a lot of people just kind of followed in line. And like a strong masculine is not gonna just sit by the wayside and just be like a tumbleweed and blown along by what they're telling you to do. Like you need to put on a mask, you need to do this. Not where you should just be, oh well, I'm healthy and like I should be able to make my own decisions. Like you just saw how much there in a masculine in a society where there's healthy masculine, the men would push back on that. With a society with a weak masculine, they will be controlled by the government.
Why do you think we don't have a healthy masculine as much as maybe we had like 1-2 generations ago? What has changed in your opinion?
Testosterone levels are in the gutter. Like
so, like
proven,
nutrition.
studied. Like testosterone is dramatically low. Like all these guys are on test now. They're taking tests because their T levels are lower than a female's.
Why is that?
Diet. Pornography is literally rampant. I mean, the amount of guys that like watch porn on the regular, it's sad, man. It's sad.
How does pornography, like watching pornography, like lowers your testosterone levels?
Well,
it works with your brain and
it's a chemical. Because it creates more gray matter in your brain. Pornography does. And pornography kills your drive. Back probably even before our time. Like, guys had to court women. They had to go out and, like, now, if they can't, or if a girl turns them down or anything, just go home and watch porn. But porn also kills your drive.
Or you scroll on the next, Bumble, Tinder.
Exactly. You just swipe.
Yeah.
But porn kills your drive. Because think about it. When you ejaculate, you don't have really any drive to do anything.
So if you ejaculate constantly because you're constantly watching porn,
you're
just an
amoeba.
Like
yeah, exactly. You don't have any drive. Testosterone is the driving force, to stand for what's right, for stick up for those who are getting beaten down in one way or another.
Yeah. So it's all connected. You're saying like the advancement of technology, like the bad nutrition,
low morals,
disconnection, like with the sexes, like the new generation. I've noticed like they struggle to even just interact with the opposite sex.
Man, that's a good point too.
Constantly on their phones. So I've noticed that as well. We work in a gym, and I see people like just always constantly on their phones. They do their exercise back on their phones, and that's just weird to see. And you go everywhere, like you take public transport, you go to the library or whatever. People are just like always with their heads down. So we're missing that like interaction and communication, and I think that's
healthy human connection. Human connection. It's funny what you just said, because I mean, I know you're like so similar to me in regards to, like, if you get in the elevator with somebody else or more other people, you're gonna maybe say at least hi, how's it going?
Yeah, good morning.
Spark a conversation. That we're probably the weirdos. You and I are probably looked at as the weirdos, man. Like, I'm that too. I'm like, when I get a, hey, what's up? Hey, how's it going? How's your day going? Like, I'll engage with you. And speaking about that, like the making eye contact, I think that like, when you talk to somebody, you make eye contact with them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
you
giving
show
you
them
my
that
full
they're
attention,
seen.
right?
Yeah, but now, man, all the time, people look down like, I'm just like, come on, can we have a normal conversation? I think people are disconnected.
I mean, this whole thing of always like being on our phones, people don't have I don't want to say, what's the right word? They don't have the courage to like connect with someone else's eyesight, because it's a powerful connection. They don't have that anymore. So when you're staring at someone in the eye, they feel uncomfortable, they feel awkward, and the first reaction is to look down and go back into their cocoon.
Yeah, that's
right?
The best way to put it. Yeah, their shell. Yeah, because when you, in a way, you make yourself kind of vulnerable. So like, in regards to like the masculine thing too, that's the thing. There's a disconnect on vulnerability. Like, yes, as a healthy masculine knows how to be, like, in a way, can be open, is not fully closed off, because that would be toxic if you can't like open up at all, but I think that there's a fine line with that. The vulnerable, you don't want to be. I don't think that a healthy masculine means being fully vulnerable, because a man has to be strong, and like, if shit hits the fan, you have to be able to be the backbone for your spouse or your family.
Don't you think you can be strong and vulnerable at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, you can show all your
allow
weaknesses,
yourself to open up.
You can show your dark side, but still, when the time comes, you're gonna show up no matter what. So I think that's real strength, rather than just not showing anything,
masking it.
Yeah.
I
mean, with your family, with your woman, with your partner, you wanna show your vulnerabilities. That doesn't mean that you're not strong. I think that's the opposite, right?
Yeah, it's strong when you can show your vulnerabilities and that you're able to handle them and power through it.
Yeah.
I think trying to bury that stuff, I think that's not the healthiest way of going about it.
So
you know?
why do you think there's so much like depression, mental health issues, especially among men? Is that because like they don't have like these types of conversations?
Yeah, there's no.
Like,
Yeah,
hey,
I'm
yesterday,
glad you brought this up. Yeah.
yesterday I had sex with a girl and I didn't get any erection. Like, do men like still have this conversation, or that's like taboo because that's too much. I cannot share this with anyone because they're gonna judge me or something.
Yeah, I
Or
think
I'm
people
depressed.
worried
I'm
about
feeling
the.
depressed. I don't wanna, I don't wanna go out. I'm not gonna share this with anyone. I don't wanna
Yeah.
go to a therapist.
Yeah, I'm glad you. Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up because male loneliness and male depression is such a thing that's brushed under the rug because, like you said, it is like taboo, or people don't want to engage in an uncomfortable conversation.
Especially men, because women do that, bro.
Yeah,
Way
women
more
talk.
than-
Yeah, but there's men. A lot of men don't have. I mean, I just put it on my page. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, a small percentage of men have just one guy friend to be able to call when shit hits the fan, or like if they are going through it and they need somebody to talk to. Like, if you're a guy and you're not, as a guy, you shouldn't go to your spouse with your problems. As a man, you should have a healthy masculine friend that you can talk to and tackle that with. Like,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to bring your woman into that, and your woman's not going to give you a response that you're going to need.
I agree, man. Absolutely. Yeah. I agree. If you look at history, like all the, I don't know, like I'm thinking about like tribes, for example, like males, they would get together, maybe like after a day of hunting, they would like gather together and they would share like stories and all of that, and they would get feedbacks and all of that, and then they would go back to their families and continue their lives. But this like male component has always been essential in our society.
It's crucial.
Yeah.
It's crucial, and I think that has just that's just been done away with, unfortunately. In some circles, you have it. Sports, military.
Yeah.
All of that, you have that framework in place. But now,
If you look at that, sorry if I interrupt you, man, like
No.
sports and military, and you always have someone to look up to, whether it's like your coach, your trainer, the general. So you always have like a healthy,
hopefully,
like a role model that you're looking up to. So that will give you guidance, that will give you structure, that will give you organization. So we as male, we need that. We need structure. We need someone to look up to, whether it's a mentor, whether it's a whatever, like your father or your coach. So we it's part of our DNA, so we need that. So if we don't have that, we're lost and we lose our minds.
yeah, and to be able to have that kind of, not only the structure, but also to have the release to be able to, talk things through with somebody who you have a respect for.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not enough, like, what is the stat was, mentally, guys need 2 guys nights a week.
Where did you get that study?
That was, I was watching a podcast, and then I was like, oh, interesting. And then I was like, let me look it up. And I'm trying to remember who it was that did the study. I'll have to look.
Because man, if you think about it, if we don't have like a strong male figure, you have a weak family. If you have a weak family, that's gonna impact the
Weak
community.
kids, it's a ripple effect.
When
it's
the
trickling
community is
down.
impacted, it's gonna impact like on a larger scale. Like kids, they don't have anyone to look up to, so they're lost. Maybe they get into drugs. Maybe they get into like weird stuff. Women, I don't know, man.
There's a lot of single mothers now too.
It's yeah.
Like the fathers have left. Or they just like move. Like there's no, not ownership. There's no.
Taking responsibility for things.
Yeah, there's no responsibility for your actions.
Yeah. Especially in a city like Miami, as we were saying the other day, man. In my experience,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I've met a lot of single moms, and I always ask them, so where's your where's your kid's father? And the answer is always the same. He's not in our life. And I mean, I get it, man. My parents are divorced, so I understand. When if something doesn't work between a couple, obviously it's healthy to separate. But not being in your kid's life, that's something that I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, because then the kid grows up, you know. If for example, let's do the other side. If a girl is born and grows up without a father figure, she can't see how a guy should treat a woman. So she's not going to know what to look for in a man if her father doesn't embody that. And then if she does have a father and that father is toxic, then she falls into that trap of, oh, like that's how men are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a sad cycle.
That's so true, man, because that is her only reference. So she's gonna gravitate towards that because she grew up in that.
A familiar hell is easier to fall into than an unfamiliar heaven.
Wow, say that again.
A familiar hell is more comfortable to go with than an unfamiliar heaven.
Because we are scared of the unknown, so we'd rather stick to what we know, even if it's painful and
it's
toxic.
Comfortable. Yeah, because you're comfortable.
Wow, man, you dropped a bomb over there.
Pretty wild, right?
Huh.
It's wild to see that too, because I've had a relationship where I tried to get her out of that, but I couldn't, and she's still in it. It's the girl that was with me when I had my accident.
Okay.
She stayed with me. She quit her job, risked everything to be with me, but it's a very toxic, she can't get away from the family thing. So.
Yeah, man, I have experience of that as well. Like when you're in a relationship with someone that has comes with a lot of baggage. Obviously, if she's in your life, it becomes your baggage as well, as you well know.
Your burden to bear.
But what I've learned, and this is just my experience, you cannot save someone. Only them can save themselves. So it's not our role to save our partners, even though obviously we love them, so we want to, help them out. But it is not our responsibility, We can only be on their sides and be of support, but we're not therapists, we're not psychologists, we're not, it's too much. You know what I'm saying?
That's the hardest part.
It is,
because
man, yeah.
You want to be that person's savior.
You can't.
Yeah, no matter what. But that's really the hardest thing to really come to terms with. Because if you love somebody, you're like, but sometimes you have to let them go.
Yeah.
You have to let them go so that they can grow on their own.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, man. Because I think you're doing a disservice if you want to fix their shit for them. Because it's like you're saying, I believe that you're not able to do it by yourself, so I'm doing it for you.
But then there's no growth, there's no learning for them.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah, like you said, you shortcut their learning and their growth.
And if they want to do it or not, that's up to God, Yeah, that's powerful stuff, man. But I think, in today's society, we definitely lack that healthy male figure, and I believe everything starts with the man. Today's society, we say we're equal, this and that, but in a family setting, even in a bigger setting, it's the man that sets the tone. Not because he's superior or better than the woman, but starts from him, and then it's a cascade effect. If a man is stable and is he sets the tone and direction, then the woman will follow, and then she will
absolutely
do her part, and then the kids, and then community and all of that. So it starts with that.
Yeah, healthy roles.
And a feminist may say, "Oh, you're being like a man. What's the word?
Machismo.
You're being machista, all of that." But I think it's not. That's the way it should be, and not even in a religious setting. But even if you look at again like tribes and all of that, like there's the chief of the tribe. He takes decisions, and then women they do their part in whatever their role is, and everything has a structure and order.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that figure that sets the tone and the rhythm, there's chaos and yeah.
That's kind of where we're at right now. We're in chaos because the roles have just been like so flip-flopped. Like, and I get, everybody should have like, if a woman wants to work, yes, like of course, like, and it's expensive now, come on. But I don't know, there's just something about there's a lot of like this boss woman, boss chick type stuff. Like, I don't ever want to be with somebody like that. Like, women that are like want to be the boss babe. I don't know if you like know what I'm talking about, but like,
yeah,
the chicks that are just like, we don't need men.
yeah, okay.
I see that a lot. Like, we
Yeah.
don't need men. Actually, you do fucking need men. Men have built everything in your society right now that you are using and doing.
No,
Men
wait,
build,
man.
not everything, but men build the highways, men build the infrastructure.
I don't see it
men
that
do the
way.
hard jobs.
I see as we're part of a team. Like, you need me and I need you. It's not that you don't need me, you can do it by yourself, because I need you as much as you need me.
Yeah.
That's the way that I see it. And I think there's there's a lot of division even among like men and women, not only among like different races or whatever, religions. There's division everywhere, and I think that's not helping anyone.
Yeah, because I think it's because no one respects each other. All comes down to respect, man. No one respects each other enough to give them either time of day, benefit of the doubt, all of that.
Where do you think this boss babe started, or this whole like movement of I can be strong and independent, I don't need a man,
Dude, that's a good question. I actually never really dug deep into that. I wonder, like, kind of where that. I mean, it definitely is part of the feminist movement. That's a toxic movement as well. We won't go down that road. I don't know.
I mean, man, hold on. I think
a lot of girls are making their own money, but like, and not probably not all of them, but I mean, we're all sitting in Miami, so.
The way that I see it is, women right movement. Yeah, of course, we want to have the same rights, we want to have the same everything, but this competition between genders, I don't understand that. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
It's not a race. It's not me against you. It's not me better than you. Me making more money than you. I mean, if we have that mentality, we're never gonna evolve. We're always gonna be stuck at the bottom.
Yeah. I think that division is really part of I think that's part of the plan.
I agree. There's definitely a plan to divide.
Yeah.
Like,
you're not
countries,
strong.
nations, genders, religions.
Yeah. If you plot everybody against each other, then you're so much easier to control. It's all about control.
I've heard that before, yeah.
It's all about control.
Yeah.
Sadly.
I mean, man, we both lived in different areas of the world, and I interact with a lot of different cultures and blah, blah, blah. We're not that different, man. Like Muslims, Jews, Italians. We're
all
all
the fucking same, man. We're all the same.
So it's like funny, like you think, we're like a better race than this one, or like better gender, whatever. We're not. We're all the same, So it's like
it's the silliest thing. And then we all die and we get put back into it. whatever you believe, I guess. I think we just keep going back and around, around, around. I think we'll die and we'll run it back again.
Oh, you believe in the reincarnation?
Yeah, I believe that we just keep coming back until you level up.
Hmm.
That's my belief.
That's
Like, who knows? Maybe, I don't know. I think about it sometimes. Like, I'll be alone and I'll just be like, am I dead still?
All right, man. Should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
You want to say something to finish it up, or a message that you got, or anything that's on your mind?
Let's see. Well, I think no matter what's happening in the world, no matter what the news is saying, no matter what your peers are saying, no matter what your boss says, no matter what anybody says about you, at the end of the day, what's important is that you can put your head down on the pillow at night and be happy about the person that you were that day. I think that at the end of the day, everybody is so wrapped up in everything, and that I think it's to be able to rest your head on a pillow at night and know that you put in an effort to be the best version possible and create the best vibration to help other people. And I think that that's what life's about.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Mateo, thank you for having me on.